You search for signs to know what tomorrow may bring, yet you do not see that you have been prophesying your future all along, not with visions or sacred texts, but with the quiet sentences you rehearse within yourself when no ear is there to hear. When you replay a conversation that never happened, shaping every word another would say as though the scene were already written, you believe you are relieving your heart, but you are composing tomorrow. And when you look upon an obligation and feel the familiar sigh rise within you, whispering, I will never get ahead, you think you are stating a fact, but you are issuing a decree. For man walks within the prophecy he makes in silence. What you call habit, frustration, or private frustration is nothing less than the unseen script from which your world must draw its lines. You wait for destiny to announce itself from without, not knowing it has been forming itself from your inner speech. You have spoken the end without knowing you spoke it. Walk with me, and tonight I will show you how to change the prophecy at its source. Most men believe their days unfold by accident, shaped by circumstances outside their control. Yet if you would only listen to the words you speak within yourself, you would discover the true author of every hour. For as you move through the morning, you rehearse scenes the world has not yet shown you. You shape conversations that have never taken place, giving voice to another as though their reply were already fixed. And in these quiet rehearsals, you write the script your world must later perform. Consider how often you replay a disagreement, not aloud, but inwardly. As you wash your face or walk from room to room, you craft every line, hearing again what wounded you, adding force to the grievance, strengthening the atmosphere of tomorrow. You imagine you are relieving the weight of the moment, but you are not. You're establishing the pattern, fixing the tone, preparing the stage upon which life must act. Or think of the moments when you look upon an obligation that must be met, something that stirs the old uneasiness, and feel the familiar sigh rising within you. That faint whisper, this will be difficult, it always is, seems to you a simple acknowledgement of fact, yet it is nothing of the kind. You are planting the seed from which the difficulty will grow. For the world does not oppose you, it answers you. It echoes the state you occupy when you speak within yourself. Man does not realize how faithfully the outer responds to the inner. He believes he is merely reacting to life, describing what is not knowing that his description is the command life obeys. These murmurs, so soft and unimportant to you, are the prophecies from which your path is drawn. They form the unseen decree, the whispered law that shapes the very hour you will later call experience. For every inner word carries within it the tone of a state, and every state insists on external expression. In this way, man is always caught in the very act of creation, even when he imagines he is only recalling, complaining, or preparing for disappointment. And until he becomes aware of the speech that moves silently through him, he will continue to walk in the shadow of prophecies he did not know he made. If you understood the power contained in a single inner sentence, you would watch your silent words as a priest watches the flame upon his altar. For every event that meets you began first as a murmur within, faint, unnoticed, but alive. Man thinks life comes to him from without, yet all that comes because he first welcomed it in the secret place. The inner chamber is the true workshop of creation. The outer world merely receives what was finished there. In Scripture, it is said, by thy words thou shalt be justified, and by thy words thou shalt be condemned. These are not the words spoken from the lips, but those whispered in the depths, the quiet speech that clothes itself in feeling. For your inner utterance is not commentary, it is causation. Each sentence you repeat within yourself is the breath that shapes an unseen form, and that form must appear in its appointed hour. Every state has its own rhythm, its own vocabulary, its own inner tone. When your inner speech is saturated with complaint, with fear, with anticipation of disappointment, you are not simply thinking negatively. You are assuming a garment, and the garment demands expression. Life then arranges itself around the pattern you have accepted, drawing circumstances, encounters, and moods that match the state you now wear. What you call coincidence is only the outer arrangement of your own inner climate. The day does not surprise you. It obeys you. Though you do not hear the command as you give it, the world hears and answers. It moves not by chance, but by correspondence. The outer environment is the echo chamber of the inner word, returning to you the tone you kept alive in silence. So the question is never, why did this happen? The question is, what have I been saying within myself? For nothing enters your experience that did not first find hospitality in your inner speech. Change the words spoken in the heart, and the world must change its reply. You change your prophecy not by force, but by redirecting the inner word. For the mind is never silent. It is always speaking, always whispering some conclusion about your world. So when the old tone rises, the quiet dread, the familiar forecast of loss or rejection, do not attempt to silence it. Simply offer it a new reply. For every inner statement invites an answer, and the answer can rewrite the scripture. Suppose within yourself you hear, "This will not work," or "They will not receive me well." Pause in that moment without strain or argument. Let the deeper voice answer, "It ends in my favor." Not shouted, not forced, but spoken as one who already knows the conclusion. This gentle inner reply breaks the momentum of the old prophecy and introduces the tone of fulfillment. It is the tone, not the emotion, that creates the future. The emotion may flutter, but the tone remains steady, and the tone is the decree. When your mind constructs dark conversations, imagine confrontations, silent criticisms, anticipated disappointments, do not wrestle with the picture. Speak a new line into the scene. If the imagined voice accuses, let it yield to the words, "All is well now." If the mind rehearses failure, let the inner word answer. The matter resolves itself beautifully. These revised sentences are not fantasy. They are seeds. And a seed does not need drama or detail, only acceptance. For the quicker shift, use what I call the 10-second word. Take a single sentence and let it fill the mind for a brief moment, no more. Good news is coming. This turns out well. Everything aligns for me. Hold it just long enough to feel its finality. Not excitement, finality. A word that feels finished becomes the prophecy that shapes tomorrow. And how do you know the shift has taken place? You will sense a subtle inner ease, a loosening in the chest, a quiet certainty behind the breath, not emotion, tone. That tone is the signature of the new prophecy. Hold it for a moment and then continue with your day. For once the inner word is spoken with authority, the outer world must answer its call. If you doubt the power of your inner speech, then give yourself this simple test. Not for a month, not for a week, but for 3 days only. For 3 days, watch the words you speak within as though they were sacred, knowing they are the only seeds from which tomorrow may grow. Do not attempt to silence the old murmurs. They will rise. But when they rise, answer them with the tone of the end you have chosen. Let every inner sentence carry the atmosphere of fulfillment. As you walk through the hours, you will hear the old prophecy attempt to speak again. The familiar whisper, "This will be difficult," or "Nothing ever changes," will try to reclaim its place. In that moment, without force, reply from the end. "It turns out well for me." Say it gently as one who knows the outcome. This soft insistence, repeated over 3 days, will do more for you than months of outer effort. And if you would deepen the experiment, revise the day before you sleep, look back upon anything that troubled you, and in imagination, rewrite it as though it had ended in your favor. Hear what you wish had been said. Feel what you wish had been felt. This is not denial, it is creation. You are replacing the old prophecy with a new decree spoken in the secret place. Do this faithfully for 3 days and watch the subtle shifts that follow. A changed tone within must summon changed conditions without. For life cannot resist the state you consistently occupy. If the inner word is altered, the outer world must obey. Test it now, and you will no longer ask whether the law is true. You will know it by its fruit. Now you understand that the word you speak within yourself is the prophecy your world must fulfill. You are not a spectator, carried helplessly by circumstances. You are the voice that gives them birth. For every hour of your day rises from the tone you keep alive in the secret place. Change the tone and the hour must follow. Change the inner word and the outer world must bow to it. You have blamed the world for too long. You have believed others shape your path, that fortune lifted or abandoned you at its whim, but nothing has ever entered your experience except what found welcome in your silent speech. And the moment you alter that speech, the moment you claim a new inner decree, life begins to rearrange itself around your new state. So walk now as the prophet of your own life. Let your inner word be spoken from the end, not from fear or habit. If the old whisper attempts to rise, answer it as one who knows the conclusion. Clothe yourself in the tone of fulfillment and carry it with you into every meeting, every task, every quiet moment of the day. For the world is forever hearing your inner voice and giving form to the state you occupy. Choose the state you will live from, and let your silent prophecy declare the day before it dawns. For what you accept as true within you becomes the law of your experience. Now, let us go into the silence.